All right, hey there. Good morning. It's a Monday morning, yeah? And it's been a little while since we worked on this kit. I ended up being super busy last week with some family stuff, and so I wasn't able to stream at all. And I missed it, right? Because this Legion of Thor kit so far has been really good. So I've been looking forward to getting back into it, and we're gonna do that finally today. Also, there's like new stuff all around, right? The stream layout is different. The camera settings are a little bit different as well. So as we go through, if you're watching live or if you're watching this on replay later on, leave me a comment to let me know what you like, what you don't like, if there's anything that's annoying that you'd like me to change, because I am still tweaking a bunch of settings. I'm going to turn this camera down here and give you guys a view of the kind of a side view of the build area as we work. And yeah, we had stopped off at the end of the chest unit, which is right here on the instructions. So I think the shoulders are next. Yes. And we're building 2 of them. So I'll get this pushed or placed over here where it needs to be so I can see what we're doing. And then we will get started. Oh, guess what? We won't get started. I was working on something in the house, not in my studio here, over the weekend, and both of my pairs of nippers are not here in their little holders where they're supposed to be. So I'll be right back while I run inside the house and grab my nippers. Okay, we're good now. We have both pairs of nippers. This one's got something caught in the mechanism again, which seems to happen with these quite often. Let's see if I can clean that out so that they move a little bit better. Yeah, there we go. All right. I'm not sure what it is with that pair of nippers specifically. I think I'm just unlucky. But it does seem to not... They seem to not move freely all the time. They seem like they're always getting something caught. With just little bits of plastic or fuzz or something. But this pair of God hands never have that problem, so who knows? Seems like the background music's a little bit loud. I'm gonna turn that down a touch for you guys. All right, and now finally let's start with some shoulders for this guy. And I think we'll just do both of them simultaneously, rather than, you know, building one shoulder and then going back to do the second one. I'm not sure why I got the J runner out. Oh, there is a single part that I need off of here. That is why. And that might do it for that runner. That's really unusual, because the other half of that same joint is over here on the L runner. I keep almost putting these away and then deciding that there are more parts that I want to get off of these runners while we have them out. Just to save time later on, might as well grab them now. Though I need 17 as well. Anything else? No. So this is giving me a sense of the scale of these shoulders. They seem like they're going to be quite big and chunky. I'm just looking for a 21 off of this runner, and I believe that's the only part we need. At least for now. I'm looking ahead at a few steps of the instructions all at once so that I can grab some parts here. That way we're not going back to the runners. However, I am right at the bottom of a page of the instructions, and so there's a good chance that I'm going to need those runners again as soon as I turn the page. I'll zoom in just a touch here and give you guys a view of that completed bit right there. So that's one thing for me when I, like this kit, I decided that I was going to build it on stream exclusively, right? And I didn't want to build at all without streaming for this particular one because I didn't want you guys to miss anything. I don't want to come back and suddenly have like the arms done when the last time that we ended a stream we only had the torso, for example. And so there were a couple of opportunities that I had last week, like just little short spurts of time or like late in the evening for me when I was already kind of tired or whatever, and I didn't want to stream just because I was tired, but I could have built a little bit just for a little while. And that's when I ended up working on something different instead of this kit. Because like I said, I didn't want to build part of it and have it not be available on stream. So yeah, that's I guess a downside that I'm discovering to trying to stream an entire build of a kit, is that I can't just do a little short build session, you know, for 20 minutes or something when I've got a moment to do so. I need to kind of wait until I have a couple of hours at least to do a build session and have it streamed. So yeah, something I'll just have to keep in mind for myself when I plan things going forward. Like some builds I might just want to do on my own, just so that I don't have those time constraints, you know, built into the process. All right, so for this one, so in this very zoomed in camera view that we have here, my hands look so big. Just checking, this piece here does not look like it. Like both of these pegs are the same, so it does not matter the orientation of that one. Ah yes, and I am reminded that we noticed this last time, most of the joints on this kit seem to be quite snug. Right? So just pushing these pegs in, it's a little tricky. Yeah, so it's engineered with very tight tolerances. Even that doesn't seem like it's all the way in there. There we go. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind if you're going to build this one. Just that it's a bit tough sometimes to press the pieces into place. And I also am a little bit concerned about in the future disassembling this thing to then paint it. I feel like that might be tricky for some of the sub assemblies for sure. This goes here? Yeah, I guess so. Alright, so this must be the inner frame mechanism of the shoulder. This is obviously where it attaches above the joint that goes down to the arm, and then it's got some rotation here, and then some rotation in this other axis over here. So that's an interesting structure. We'll have to see how that ends up being utilized. Yeah, so that joint, the second time trying to put it together, went together much easier than the first attempt. So I don't know if it's because the parts aren't quite as precise as what I'm used to, and so the tolerances are a bit different from one part to the next, or maybe it was just because I had pushed those parts together one time before, it turned out to be easier for me. I'm not sure, but it was easier that second time for sure. We're going to grab 2 K runners and grab one part off of here. Is this one? Yeah. Yeah. I'm just realizing I'm pretty sure that I have a view on my PC here where I can see YouTube chat alongside of Twitch chat, so that I don't have to be looking in two different places on my screen to see them. And it seems like that the YouTube chat has not connected correctly, so there's a problem there, but I'm not going to worry about that right now because YouTube tends to not have a lot of chat volume anyway. So yeah, we're not going to worry about it. Well, these don't go on here yet. They go on to something off of the B2 runner. So strangely, I don't remember in the first build session with this kit having quite as much trouble as I'm having already with the runners getting tangled up with one another in the box over there. As well, you can see the box in the upper camera, the secondary camera. It's over here to my left. As always, I just have the runners stacked in alphabetical order, kind of standing up in the box there. And that's my normal process for this, but for whatever reason this time rifling through them is turning out to be a little bit more tricky than it usually is. I'm hearing some sounds. I don't think you guys hear them. Hopefully the mic doesn't pick them up. I had sent a job to my 3D printer a little while ago, and it was quietly over there in the corner heating up. And it must have reached temperature because now it is starting its bed leveling process. Although it does seem like maybe it's got a problem. Let me go check on that real quick here. All right, turning the page. I do have a trick where I can bring in the printer camera over the top of our stream here, up there in the upper left-hand corner. It's not doing anything right now. It had a problem with the bed leveling. So I've resent the job, and hopefully it will heat up correctly this time and do the right thing. I had some issues with it a couple weeks ago where the bed heater stopped working, and I had to order a new one and replace it. And so now the bed is heating maybe too well or quicker for sure than it did before, and so it's causing very slight inconsistencies in the height of the bed. And so when the probe goes for when the job starts to print, and the probe is checking the leveling of the bed, sometimes it gets stuck now. So I'm gonna have to modify some settings there probably to make it less picky about the precision of that bed leveling process, I think. So as I work here, I will just keep an eye on the printer over in the corner, and if it stops again, I'll maybe have to go do something with it. Let's see, while we're here, let's get 9 and 10. So it's bed leveling now. So you can see it moves around and it's got an actual physical probe that's going down and touching the surface of the heated bed there. It does it in the four corners a couple of times and makes small adjustments to the Z height loaders to get it perfectly level. We'll see if it does it correctly this time. I was away for the weekend and so I had it turned off. So it's been a while since I printed anything on the printer. And so it's taking a couple of cycles around here to get itself level again, it looks like. Again, okay. It's going one more time. If it ever starts printing, what it's supposed to be printing is the parts for another one of my stands for my display wall. So back behind me, it's not on camera right now, but back behind me in my studio, there's a hexagon-based wall that I can snap display bases into to display my kits that I build. And yeah, I've made a small revision to how those bases work and are printed. So I'm trying to print, hopefully, the final version of that. And assuming that all works, there will be a YouTube video coming shortly after that to show you guys how that all works and to share those files. So if you want to print something similar for yourself, you can as well. Come on, be level this time. Hey, it stopped, so it probably is level. Or it just failed because it tried so many times and couldn't find a level solution. Let's see. I had to check the log real quick. Yeah, it failed again. I'm pretty sure that the, like I said, the new bed heater is not heating the bed quite as evenly as the old one used to do, even though this one works better. We'll tell it to go one more time, see what happens. Just for the record, the correct solution when your 3D printer is not working is not just to keep trying it over and over. But since I'm in the middle of building right now, I don't want to like stop and go try to figure it out. So we'll try this solution for now, the solution of just redo. And then later on today, when I have other time available, I'll have to go and actually solve the problem for real. All right, I also need part 10 off of this K runner, it looks like. And 17 and 20. Anything else off of this K runner before I put it down? I think not. But we have to grab the matching parts off of the other K runner. So if you're just joining in, we're building the shoulder units right now, 2 of them, for this Legion of Thor kit. Hello, good morning. And the 3D printer is going around again to see if it can manage to get itself a level bed. No, it's already given up at this point again. So yeah, I'm going to give up on that 3D print for now. Give me a second to switch over here on my computer and just tell it to cancel that job and cool itself back down. All right, and we don't need to see that camera anymore. Yeah, so like I said, I'll have to play with some configuration settings on the printer a little bit later today when I have more time and try to resolve that issue. So building your own 3D printer, that's a Voron. It came as a kit that I built. It was super fun, and I recommend it if you want to like have a fun project and learn how 3D printers work. But probably just, you know, if you just want to print things, buying a good quality pre-assembled printer is probably the way to go. Because when you build it yourself, there can be little issues like what I'm seeing here. And to be fair, the printer was working great until the bed heater died a couple weeks ago and I had to replace it. And so it's just a matter of me tweaking some configuration settings to get the new heater dialed in just right so that it works with everything else. Got cold. The weather got cold, or you have a cold? Because one of those is worse than the other. It got cold, okay. Yeah, where I am, it's cooling off, but it's still very hot. I don't have any cameras pointed at my face right now, but I am kind of red because I was outside a bunch this weekend and did not apply sunscreen. And turns out that it was very sunny, and so actually got a bit sunburned, which I was not expecting this time of year especially, but it's still pretty hot and pretty sunny here. All right, this is our E runner, and we only need one part off of it. Interesting. And then, of course, the matching one off of the other runner. This is a lot of pieces for a shoulder. Yeah, I don't usually associate Texas with being cold. Although, I guess, like, was it last year or the year before? There was that weird, like, really cold spell where everybody's pipes were freezing and stuff was going crazy there. I think I remember reading about that. N1. N1 is this interesting clear orange runner. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, 21 is when I think I remember hearing about that. I actually had a friend in one of the Gunpla discords that I'm part of who lived somewhere where they were having that problem back then, and he said that they had pipes burst in their house and it like flooded quite a lot of their house because they weren't home when it happened. All right, can we build something now? Is this enough parts? I think this should be enough parts. Let's see what we got. Oh, that's not what I'm after. This is what I'm after. All right, so these guys, I need the other direction. Just go in here, like so. Let's zoom back in. If I press this in here, yeah, I can probably, since it's got this little bit that sticks through here, I can probably push on it from the back side if I ever want to get it back out of there again. Although it did snap in there really snugly. So good luck to my future self if I try to disassemble this later on. This might be one of those kits, based on how tight a lot of these parts are fitting. This might be one of those kits that I decide to just either hand paint some details and then top coat it, or not even paint it at all, which is unusual for me. But disassembling this thing to paint it is starting to seem like more and more of a challenge. All right, so we have those four little, I think these are like the flaps that go on the front and back of the shoulders. And then, oh, we can put them on right now already. So these go on this way or the other way? Yes, this way. So they just press on there, simple enough. I need the other direction. Right. Right. Yeah, I could certainly mask parts. It feels weird to use masking as an approach when they started out as separate parts, you know? But yeah, that would be an option as well. I'm not sure what my plan is going to be with this kit, but I gotta say, I've really been impressed with the quality and the engineering of this one. I've built a lot of third-party non-Bandai kits this year. I think way more than ever in the past. And this one is quickly becoming my favorite. So I feel like I want to do some kind of special treatment with it as far as finishing and painting. Just because I feel like it deserves it. So we'll see what happens once I'm done with the build here. All right, so we have those two little sub-assemblies, and then we have these, which we've already built, that just snap on here, I believe. Just like that. And then these curved parts that we already have available to us fit over the top here. Is that the right orientation? Yeah, so this is the correct side for this. And I think it just slides down into this little rectangular opening there. Yeah. Just like that. What did I do here? I guess I just didn't trim that nub super clean. That's all right. That can be cleaned up later for sure. All right, so two shoulder things, but they're not done yet. There's another part, oh, that goes across the top here, I see. All right, and we don't have all the parts we need for that. I'm pretty sure. Oh, look at that. I have one of something, which is never a good thing when you're building duplicates, right? So somewhere I must have forgotten to get the second K10. Which runner is that on? It's this one. All right, and then along with that, I need a couple of things off of, oh, the last two things actually, off of this N2 runner. So this is it's small, but it's the first completed runner from this kit. So we'll toss that on the floor, as is tradition. And we'll grab this D2 runner. I think this is a color I haven't seen yet. It's a very dark gray. Not quite black. It looks almost black on the camera, I think. Let's see. Let's zoom in. Is that black? Yeah, it looks nearly black. Just checking quick to see if I need anything else from there. I do not. Yeah, so that's going to need some sanding to clean up for sure. I'm just checking to see how good the lighting is now that I've kind of moved the camera and the lighting around. Yeah, you can definitely see that nub mark if I zoom in like that. Cool. Good to know. All right, this one goes with those. A giant truck is going by outside my house, or my studio space here. I'm just pausing to see if the mic picks that up. It looks like it doesn't, which is cool. Right, so if I press these in here, this is cool because these have like just a little slit that holds them in place. However, they actually cut that all the way through to the back side of the part, so that makes it easier to use a toothpick or something in the future to poke that back out if you need to. That goes that way? Yes, and it seems like it's really gonna click in. It does. Interesting. Yeah, so some of these parts aren't really like your standard press fit. They don't feel like you've just pressed them into place. They actually like click and lock fairly forcibly. Like I'm just trying to pull on this to see if I can very easily pull it back apart. Yeah, it wasn't too bad actually. But it definitely clicks in place with a fairly solid click. Yeah, so this definitely has some kind of a sliding mechanism to it. We're going to sandwich this inside of here. And then that part can slide out. Like that and back in. I hope, and it does look like this is going to be the case, that something else like grabs into that mechanism and makes it easier to slide it out, because it's hard to reach down in there with your finger and do that. All right, I need some more of these blue parts. Three and 8. So I didn't mention it yet, but I think the main reason that I'm streaming today on a Monday, when I don't normally do that, is that my local soccer team that I follow, Orlando City in Major League Soccer, has made the Major League Soccer playoffs, and they play this evening. Hence the jersey that I'm wearing, because we have tickets for that, and so My family's going to that game later, and I'm quite nervous. Our opponent is Nashville, who on paper we should be able to beat, but we've had problems with them in the past. So they're one of those, like, I think every sports team has, you know, a certain rival that they don't ever like to play. For us, Nashville is definitely one of those. And so, yeah, I'm a bit nervous. And so I figured I was not going to be useful to get any like actual work done today. And so instead of trying, I figured I'll just build a bit and try to pass the time this way until it's time to later on go and hopefully watch a win. That would be nice. All right, so you snap up here. Oh, interesting. Okay, so these two pegs, let's see if I can get this on video or on film here. This is a bit complicated. So there's these two pegs here on this part, and then there's another one down here, and this is the one that's going to grab the groove in this mechanism that pushes this piece up. So as I put this in, this is actually going to snap over this groove here. That seems like it might be a problem. I guess they put a little notch there that this is supposed to snap over, but yeah, this is definitely one of those things where, like, if you forced it and it was lined up incorrectly, you could probably break these parts pretty easily. I don't know that there was a better way to engineer it to assemble it easier though. And it's going to take quite a bit of force. And it actually tells you that in the instructions, like that this is going to click into place. All right, I think I've done it. And then this goes this way, like that. Let's just clean that up a bit with my fingernail. Yeah, okay. It seems like something else should snap in over the top of this. It has not yet, or nothing has been specified to do that yet. I'm just trying to figure out, like, without breaking this, how does this mechanism work? Do you pull downward? Yeah, maybe instead of breaking it, I should just wait and let the instructions tell me, huh? But that's no fun. I'm supposed to pull on this part? Really? The instructions say to pull on this top part to get that to pop down. That's really fiddly. Yeah, because this doesn't want to bend down, unless maybe I haven't actually snapped this all the way up into the mechanism where it's supposed to pivot. That could be the problem as well. Because yeah, this part does not want to pivot downward for sure. Interesting. And I don't want to break it. I can see how it's supposed to work, but it just doesn't seem like, yeah, I guess it does. If you just pull on it like that, it does open up ever so slightly, and I guess that's as much as it's supposed to open. So this is with it open, and then if I push this back inside of the shoulder, this bottom part folds up just ever so slightly. There's a lot less motion in it than I was expecting. And now that I've loosened it up, it actually does move fairly easily. There's extended, and there it is, tucked away inside there. All right, let's build the other side here. Yeah, that really feels like you're gonna break it, pressing on the part that hard to push it in place. Yeah, and then it does take moving this in and out a couple of times to just loosen it up enough that it seems like it's working like they anticipated or like they designed it to be. All right, that's good. And I think we need a single part off of the M runners to then snap this into place on the top of the shoulder. And it's like another one of these tiny pegs. Yeah, this guy here. All right, so this should go here. Yeah, and the instructions are pointing out that this top part of this peg is not perfectly rounded. It's slightly elongated in one direction, and so I need to be careful about orienting it correctly when I put it here. Like that. So, wow. Okay. So, as has become the case, I think, with this entire kit, the articulation of these shoulder joints or shoulder units is really interesting as well. Like this whole part pivots forward back. That's kind of the top half of the shoulder compared to the bottom half. Maybe I'll show it to you from this angle, right? So that actually, the entire thing turns, including the circular armor, the top parts of the white circular armor, but then these bottom parts stay fixed. So that's interesting. And then this whole thing here is also on a ball joint, so it can move around quite a lot as well. And then this little flap goes in and out. I guess that's good, because if the shoulder's that bulky, you want to be able to potentially turn the whole thing out of the way, like later on when he's holding his weapon and stuff. All right, I don't think we can actually do anything with these shoulders yet as far as like putting them on, right? Because there's nothing really to hold them in place. Yeah, that'll be tricky. And probably these chest bits here are gonna have to like come forward or pivot more vertical than I currently have them to get them out of the way of the shoulders, because otherwise they're gonna bump up here at the top. But yeah, it does look like, so I could actually snap this, like we'll have to take that back off again when it's time to put the arms on, because they'll have to push onto those pegs and it would be hard to do with the shoulders already in place. But at least like we can see, here's what it looks like with shoulders. They're so big. Like the volume that the shoulder takes up from here next to the body all the way out to the end of it here is nearly as high as the entire torso of the mobile suit. So yeah, those are definitely adding some crazy amount of bulk onto the look of the thing, and I really like it. It's nice. It's also making it sort of back heavy, so I can't leave it sitting here on the desk in a nice way that the camera can see it well either. Here, I have an idea. We have our little acrylic cube here. We'll use it to prop the thing up. There we go.
Don't cry.
So what's next after a small drink of water?
Talk to me.
I'm going to change up the background music as well. See if we can get a different style. All right. The next thing, according to the instructions, is the waist unit. So that's where we'll go next. Just taking a quick look here. It's the bottom part of this page, and then two more pages after that. Yeah, the majority of two more pages. I just noticed they've got like a progress bar at the bottom of the instruction manual. So like, I guess when you're on this page, you're 30% of the way done. Interesting. I hadn't even noticed that down there before. All right, I think just looking at this runner, this H runner, that the majority of the inner frame parts for this waist are going to just all be here on this one runner. So I think there's a good chance we just end up grabbing almost every part that's here. The problem with that being that I just showed you we're at the bottom of a page of the instructions and I haven't turned the page yet. So I'm actually going to put that runner back, and we'll probably have to grab it as soon as I turn the page and get a lot more parts off of it. But for the moment, I need these two parts off the I runner, which almost finishes this runner. We've got one piece left on it. I find it interesting and kind of weird actually that this kit seems like it uses a lot of undergates on the inner frame parts. So like those two gray parts that I just trimmed there, all of the gates were undergated there on those two parts. And I don't think they need to be for aesthetic reasons. Like they are here as well on this one. You're not gonna see that. These are actually edges that fit together when you sandwich these two parts together. So yeah, seemed like they used a lot of undergates on the inner frame parts, and then a lot of the outer armor parts, especially the dark blue ones, where it would make sense to undergate those things because the gate marks are going to be pretty visible if you don't sand them. They're not undergated, so don't know why. This must go this way. It only fits one way? Yes. Huh, interesting. So this thing fits through here. And I guess then can slide up and down. It does like snap into place both at the top and bottom. There's a little extra bump there that allows it to snap into place on both ends of its travel. I don't know whether they want us to have it up or down right now. Looks like up, which is how I have it, so cool. Nothing else off the G runner, but we do need some H's and some J's. We'll start with the H runner again. I told you we were going to need this one again. This is weird because, oh yeah, we do need both of those, I see. This is really strange. It seems like I need just like one or two parts off of a whole bunch of different runners. And it's not like they're different colors either. There are two shades of gray here, one darker and one lighter, but there were like 5 different runners that I used to get these 2 shades of gray. Alright, so I'll trim nubs on these parts here. Again, undergated inner frame parts. strange. So once I get these trimmed, I should have enough to actually assemble most of the rest of the inner frame part of this waist unit, I think. So this looks like not just the waist unit, it's actually going to be like the hip joints and the top part of both of the two legs as well. At least that's what it looks like. Yeah, I kind of messed that up. That was a really messy cut. I'm just going to use my knife here just for a second and clean that up. Because it's right here on this edge. And I want to leave a nice, smooth, sharp transition there. There we go. All right. And I'll be more careful on the opposite one. Whenever we get to that. Maybe I should just leave the knife out here on the desk, because these parts definitely are more prone to needing cleanup with a knife after I trim them. Okay. And so we're back to these very tight pivot joints again. They've actually reused the same parts that we used on the shoulders, again here on the waist. I'm not sure what these ball joints are going to be for. My guess is that they are where side skirts attach later on. No, maybe not, because this is not the side, this is actually the back of the waist, I'm pretty sure. It's either the back or the front. So it looks like the front and back skirts attach with those ball joints. Interesting. Okay. Anyway, these are definitely where the legs attach. And once again, the fit is very tight, and pivoting that joint is a little tricky. It'll be easier to do once you've got the leverage of the entire leg attached to it, of course, but I think that's actually good that the joints are that tight in this particular case, especially because otherwise the legs are likely to be loose at the hips, and then it will have trouble standing up. Yeah, that seems good. I don't think I was supposed to build that second hip joint yet. I wasn't. There's more parts that go on the outside of this one. So let's get those. And the runners in the box are getting disorganized again. I gotta say, I like this like super zoomed in camera angle setting, but I need to remember when I'm using that it's even more tricky to keep my hands in frame and like what I'm working on in frame. So I should zoom out to this wider angle whenever I'm working on like just trimming larger parts like this. But I do like the super zoomed in angle for assembly, especially, and especially assembly of small bits. I have like these extra random parts sitting around here on the desk too that I grabbed a while back because I think I need them. And I guess we just haven't gotten to that part yet. So this very dark blue, is it dark blue or just gray? It's a slightly bluish dark gray, I guess. It's the same as this color here on the round parts on the ends of the shoulder. It looks like they're using it kind of as a second shade of blue almost in some sense here. Now that I've picked that up, I can't get it to sit back down. Okay, there we go. I slid that piece on backwards, or upside down, I guess. Right, it fits both ways, but it's got this little notched edge here. I should zoom in again. Yeah, so this little flattened notched edge needs to be at the top of the joint, not the bottom. There we go. Right, so both of these are the two hip joints where the legs will attach down from there. But before we put those on, we're supposed to build this one little last bit of inner frame here, which I assume is where the front skirt attaches, since I think we've already done this point here for the back skirt to attach. Oh, it's not H, it's I that we need. Oh, hey, this is that last part on the eye runner that we saw a while ago. Yeah, so eye runner is finished. Every time a runner is finished and I get to throw it on the floor, there are fewer runners left in the box to tangle up with the things that are in there. So that helps the rest of the build process to go just a little bit faster, I think. All right, there is a hole on one side of this ball joint, and the instructions say to be careful to install it this way specifically, with this hole facing this way. I'm not sure why, because it looks like it's symmetrical from this end. So like, even if I flipped it around the other way, I would think the fit of whatever it's going to attach to is going to be exactly the same. Alright, so this sits down here, snaps in place, yes. And then these have I don't know if you can see it or not, but this peg has a flat edge there. And so these have to fit on a specific way and then turn. So I think it's this way. We'll do it carefully so that we hopefully don't break it. Yeah, and then they turn downward. Nice. And this one does the same thing. So it must be this way. Yeah. And then turn. Oh, I did not get that one pressed all the way in. Let's try again. There we go. Nice. So there's that waist unit. I think this is the front. I think this is the back. And then here's where the two legs will attach. There's no like individual forward back pivot for the legs. They both do turn this way, and then they of course spread out to like do the splits, and it looks like it'll be like close to 90 degrees or 180 degree, you know, all the way out to the side that those legs can go. All right, why do I have this part? Oh, because I need it next. Cool. I need a round piece off of this runner, and I don't see... it's hiding over here. Okay, I was going to say, I don't see any round pieces at all. There we go. This one, this part here looks like it got kind of pressed down in shipping. I think it was meant to be pivoted straight up. It got pushed over and twisted. The gates twisted a little. Hopefully they did not tear the part of the plastic that we care about. But I'm just going to leave it for now, and we'll deal with that whenever we actually need that part later on. So I need 10 off of this runner. So that's interesting. I've been keeping this N1 runner separate. So this is the transparent orange runner. And the reason that I've been keeping this not in the box is because it's got a couple parts on here that came pre-painted, sprayed with this nice sort of semi-matte silver. And I don't want it to get scratched with the other parts. But what I didn't notice until just now when I cut this round part off of there, the back side of this one had been sprayed with the silver. And now that I look closer, I see like this one that's still on the runner here, also the back of that was sprayed with silver. And that's just, I assume, to make it shine a little bit more, you know, through from the front here when you look at it from the front. So it's not transparent anymore, it's actually just nice and reflective. It's a cool touch that they did that straight out of the box to pre-paint a few of those parts. All right, so this goes here, and then this goes this way. We'll just push that in. And then this, I think, fits over the top of here. Right, and then we need 2 more blue parts to kind of fill out that top half of that area there. And they are this one. This is not a Bandai kit. It is, according to the instruction book, I I think it was designed by Non-Zero Studio. Let me zoom in here and show you the top of this. Yeah, cool. We lost the glare from the camera, or from the lights when I zoomed in. So yeah, Non-Zero Studio, I believe, is the group that designed the mobile suit, and then this Himoxian or something like that is actually the company that produced it. I'm pretty sure. I'm also quite sure that I've never built one of their kits before. Like, there have been a lot of third-party non-Bandai kits released this year, especially, kind of in this larger scale of mobile suit, but I'm pretty sure that none of them were made by this company, and I've never built a kit by this company before. Seems real good so far, though. Yeah, that's what I was expecting. Some fit problems and maybe some slightly less good, lesser quality plastics, that sort of thing. No fit issues at all. Other than some of the joints, as I've mentioned along the way, being super tight. Which I think in this case is quite good, actually, because this is a big, heavy, like, it's going to end up being a big, heavy, bulky mobile suit. And so if things like shoulders and hips and stuff are extra tight to start with, then there's a better chance that it's not going to fall apart over time. All right, so this is I'm pretty sure the front skirt, but we don't get to put it on the waist unit yet. We have to build some side skirts and a back skirt, looks like, and then we put them all together at the end. So I need, probably all three of these parts, yeah? Sure looks like it. Because these two are probably side skirts, and then this big one here is probably the back skirt. And then we have finished this runner as well. Yep, so there's the C runner done. Yes, chances are that I'll either paint some of the inner frames still assembled so that you end up not painting where the joints are, or definitely have to sand before reassembling. It was the zero gravity Judge that I built earlier this year that I painted and I was not careful about thinking about resanding any of the parts before I started reassembling it, and I ended up with a few joints that were super the fit was way too tight. And a few of them I ended up sanding later on, sort of disassembling, but like one of them kind of broke as I went to turn it. So there's like one of its backpack connections is a bit loose and had to be repaired with a rod and some glue later on, because it fits so tight that when I went to bend it later, or move it, rotate it later on, the peg actually sheared. So yeah, I think the approach with some of these joints, at least I've been sort of paying attention as I build, which is part of the reason why I snap build kits before doing any final painting or detailing work on them. Part of it is that I want to see them built so that I kind of see how it all looks together, but also I'm making mental notes of where the fit is tight or loose, or things might need to be adjusted later before or after painting. So I've been keeping track. I think that most of the places where the joints are super tight on this kit are areas where I could potentially just, like I said, leave it assembled in a little sub-assembly and paint the entire inner frame color, you know, over that sub-assembly, and then just make sure that as soon as it's slightly dry, I go ahead and move those joints so that nothing seizes up. And then I should be good to go. I think that's going to be the plan most of the time with most of the joint inner frame painting on this kit when I finally get around to it. Alright, so the side skirts are simple. They are just this, and this piece, and they just go together like so. Assuming I can line them up correctly. There we go. So those are simple enough, and then we've got, I think, just one part for the inner frame sort of inside bit of this back skirt as well. It's over here on the H runner. All of these parts too, I haven't mentioned it today, but I really like the molded detail in these parts. You know, for a third-party kit, again, you never know quite what to expect as far as detail and the sharpness and quality of it in the mold, but this is really good. And the only thing I would say, a lot of this plastic is kind of like, it has a shinier, glossier feel to it than Bandai plastic. It's a little bit harder to trim cleanly. I think especially more modern Bandai kits, you know, they've figured out the perfect formulation of plastic. This one feels a bit more like if you've ever built like one of the older master grade, like I guess it was master grade wing, where they had a lot of the molded detail on the inner frame, but the plastic was kind of glossy and had a weird feel to it. That's what this reminds me of. All right, that looks really nice. Now, let's put this together. Right, so this goes here. Oh, interesting. So this is gonna float on this ball joint here, and it attaches in such a way that it's got this cutout here that fits kind of into this piece. And you can actually, yeah, if you shift this up just right, you can get it to, I got it to come off of the ball joint, perfect. If you shift it up right without getting it to come off the ball joint, you can get it to fit perfectly into that shape there, which I assume is kind of meant to be like its resting position. And then these side skirts attach with ball joints onto the sides of the back of the waist there. So they're going to be floating in the front and only attached in the back, which probably means they'll be able to, you know, fold up and out of the way quite a lot if you're bringing the legs forward very much. And then this piece just snaps on the front, right? Yes. .1.0 Zeta. So I've not ever built the 1.0 Master Grade Zeta. But yeah, if it's from about that same era, it probably has that same kind of plastic as well. All right, can we attach this? The instructions don't say we can, but like, why not, right? So this goes and sits right in there. It's interesting. So a large portion of this torso, like pretty much all the way up to this first joint here, is going to sit down inside of this waist unit. Once I press this down, yeah. So we lose a lot of the visibility of that inner part, which actually is fine. I think that the proportions look really, really good. And then you have some layers down there inside if you look down inside there. This is going to have maybe some of the same issue that I thought about with the torso, in that it bends in so many places in here. Like these side skirts, everything's kind of on ball joints or has multiple points of articulation. So if you want to get a perfectly symmetrical like standing pose at the end of this, it's going to be probably challenging. But if you want really good like action poses, it's going to be good. It's going to be so many different ways you can move the legs and get the side skirts out of the way, and even, you know, tilt or pivot this front skirt area up or down. Yeah. So much motion in this. Nice. So this plastic isn't super brittle. It's still pretty soft. It just doesn't have that like super high quality feel that I'm used to from modern Bandai kits. All right, so there is like a large amount of the torso, shoulders, all of that's done. We've got arms and legs left to do, certainly, according to the instructions. Arms are next. Followed by legs. And then, hey, that's a cool, this page here with these line art drawings, shaded line art drawings, very nice. None of it's translated into English, so I will have to grab the translator app to figure out what it says. And then the backpack unit is quite large, but actually doesn't look like it's just a few parts. It's just very large parts, I think. And then there's the giant hammer weapon, which again, not a huge number of parts, just very big ones. And then we'll be done. Yeah, so we will we'll do the arms not today, because I do have to go do a couple other things today before I go to that soccer game later on that I talked about. Yeah, so this will have to be where we end for now. See if I can get this guy propped up right here. Yeah, it's not bad. So yeah, we'll come back. My schedule for the week is weird this week as well, just like it was last week. So not Tuesday morning as normal, because I have a meeting tomorrow. Maybe we'll do something in the afternoon tomorrow or the evening. I'll have to see how that goes. Oh, it's Halloween too, isn't it? So probably not. Yeah, I don't know when I'll be back to do arms, but it will be sometime later this week. Hey, Shellis. So you just arrived as we're finishing up here with today's part of the build, at least. This is the Legion of Thor. It's a third-party kit, not Bandai, but yeah, it's been really good so far. Really fun build. So anyway, but yeah, next time we'll work on arms, then we'll work on legs. The legs especially seem like a lot of parts and probably a lot of time, so I'm not sure how long that'll take, or whether we'll be able to do arms and legs together in one stream. We'll see. I guess that'll depend on how much time I have later in the week when it's time to do that. So anyway, all that's left for me today is to say thanks for watching, and yeah, good progress today. I enjoyed it. It's still just as good of a build as I thought when we built the first section, which was just the chest and the torso. Shoulders are great. The waist unit, it looks really nice. All the little shiny pre-painted silver on those transparent orange bits really helps to make that really pop as well. So that's cool that they did that. Yeah, so thanks guys for watching. I will see you next time.